England. What do you think about it, Scott?
Yeah, I think they need a running back now. I know that Jarvis Green Ellis ran for 1,000 yards or 1,008 or whatever last year, but
He's not dynamic.
right.
And
Although I
Woodhead,
don't know that Marines dynamic either.
no, I'm not a big Green fan. I just I don't know if I think he's more of a one-trick pony. He's not as fast as people think he is. Maybe he can add something to the special teams game as well. But I think but they have Woodhead, who I think they're still going to use Woodhead. He's, people are saying speed back in the chat room. I don't really think Green is as fast as, on tape he's not as fast as you think he is.
He's a 4-5 guy. 4-5 flat. He ran, so I think that's about what he plays at. 4-5, 4-5-5.
4-5-5. Yeah, he fits the system though. I think they need someone that can catch the ball, which he can do. Maybe use him on special teams. So, Grant's asking what defensive end we think the Falcons could get in the third round.
Third round. Sam Macho.
Maybe Romeus falls.
Yeah, I think Romeus is going to be a pretty intriguing guy in the third round. I just think that it's going to drop off so much.
Now, there's some talk that they're going to sign Ray Edwards when free agency hits, and that's their target.
I'm actually going to be going to see Ray Edwards in his MMA debut next month. His debut is at a casino like 7 miles away from me, and I live in a really small town. So when there's something to do around here, you do it. It doesn't come around very often. Exactly. Even if you're not interested, it's something to do. Let's go do it. So I will be going to that.
Nice. DBS, can we talk about the Gilchrist pick? I think, I kind of deferred to Scott because he's seen Gilchrist a little bit more. I think it's an okay pick. I don't think he's really dynamic. Probably a small reach by the Chargers.
Yeah, I think he was definitely going tonight.
Yeah.
I thought he was maybe more of a third rounder. But he's a good athlete, good size, can play multiple positions. I don't mind it, especially because we talked about with San Diego's depth chart, they could potentially use him at either corner or safety.
Yeah. So let's talk. It looked like the Seattle's on the clock, and I'm getting word here that Detroit has traded up with Seattle to this pick. So Detroit is now on the clock. Is it Brandon Harris? Yeah. It's got to be Brandon Harris. I can't see where else they're looking. And hey, you take Brandon Harris with the draft that Detroit has had so far. I'd be pretty happy with it. Titus Young got Nick Fairley yesterday. Yep. So they've traded up. I'm going to keep an eye out, see if I can find what happened. Now, one thing that I have said about Detroit, they are looking running back, I think, earlier rather than later. And we just had a running back go to pick before. Maybe they're scared LaShore is going to be gone, and maybe that's a target as well. Just kind of a dark horse to throw out there.
And I've heard that they like Daniel Thomas, too.
Really?
Another big back. Yep.
So, maybe one of these times. But if they move up and get Brandon Harris, I think it's a slam dunk. I don't even care what they gave up. And you get a starting corner out of this draft. You get a dynamic defensive tackle and a deep threat at wide receiver. This is a really good 2 days. I don't even love the Nick Fairley pick, but I still just dynamic players all around.
Well, I'll be a big fan, too, if they can get Brandon Harris here. What a difference from the Matt Millen era. Just 180 degrees from the incompetence and screw-ups to competent management. Well, I'm assuming Detroit gave up, Detroit gave up their next pick. Boy, that's a pretty big drop, though, 75. I wonder what that must have cost a pretty penny to move up that far.
Yeah, I'm still waiting to see the details.
They must like whoever it is quite a bit.
Yeah. This is kind of quite the jump up to get it, and so they definitely lost the third rounder. I'd guess the fourth as well, but I'm still waiting to see.
Potentially a future pick.
Yeah, it's a possibility for round 2. We saw, Carolina last year do that in the third round. I think Detroit could do it.
And the third round, they gave the 33rd pick in this draft.
Let's see. 74 and 107. I don't know if that's. I don't know if that's definite though.
Boy, if I'm the Baltimore Ravens sitting there with this next pick.
Oh, wide out.
Mm-hmm.
Torrey Smith still sitting there.
Derek Mason's like 37 years old.
Yeah.
Torrey Smith, Randall Cobb, your boy Hang Time, Greg Little.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Greg Little would be a nice fit. So,
I entered a contest on NFL.com to be able to enter a pick, to be able to announce a pick, but obviously I didn't win.
what?
Yeah.
Detroit gets 57, 157 and 209. Oh my, it's a crazy trade. All right, there we go. I call that one, Mikel Shore, out of Illinois. I love Mikel Shore, and talk about a perfect complement to Javid Best. They're building this offense, these offensive weapons, man.
Yeah, my only negative comment on this, because I'm a big Javid Best fan, and I like the Shore, but my only comment is, if you just used a first-round pick on a running back last year, you shouldn't need to use a second-round pick on a running back this year.
Thanks to those injury concerns. So Detroit gets 57, 157 and 209. They give up 75, 107, 154 and 205. So basically, really the trade is 75 and 107, 57, and then they move down a pick. So they're really giving up their third and fourth to move up to the second. So that's not too bad, actually. I said, oh no, they're third, fourth. They get it. So they have 2 third-round picks? Gotta look at this.
I haven't really updated my third-round.
They must have like 2 fourth-round picks or something, because. So they're the pure numbers for people that want it.
Well, I'm going Torrey Smith here, local kid.
Yeah. Yeah, Torrey Smith would be a perfect fit for the Ravens as well. Keep him in Maryland. So let's see. Seattle dealt their 2nd, 5th, and 7th for Lions 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 7th.
And Torrey Smith, he's a talented kid and also a good kid. I mean, I was just going to look up the quote from Ralph Friedgen, the Maryland quote that he had when talking about him and what a good guy he is and strong character. The quote was, God created a perfect person. So I don't know how to get much better than that. That's pretty high praise right there.
Yeah, I mean, you can't really think much more high of a person than that.
Yeah, and he had a really rough upbringing. Became the first guy in his family to earn a college degree. Here we go.
Positive, yeah. He's sticking around in Maryland. Torrey Smith. So AJ Green, Torrey Smith, both now in the AFC North.
I tell you what, Ozzie Newsome.
Man, gets value everywhere he goes.
He does.
Jimmy Smith, Torrey Smith. Who's the next Smith they're going to take?
I don't know if I can't remember the last time there was a draft. I was like, Ozzie Newsome, what are you doing?
Yeah. Yeah, he always goes for the value. So, great pick by Baltimore. Addresses a huge need. They like those big, they like those big wideouts. They always try to get them. So next up's Cleveland. This is the pick they got from Atlanta.
I'm gonna go Greg Little again.
Yeah. We'll keep trying. Maybe he'll fall to Pittsburgh. You mentioned that possibility.
Yeah, that's where I have him going in my mock.
Yeah.
And I had heard that he was maybe a possibility for Pittsburgh in round 1. I was skeptical of that, but I hedged my bets by giving him to them at the end of round 2.
Yeah, I had Cleveland taking Randall Cobb here because I had Little gone already, but.
Boy, I love that Torrey Smith pick here.
Yeah, tremendous. Just and a great compliment to Anquan Bolden as well, because Mason's not going to be around too much longer. Better in the slot right now. So you get Torrey Smith as a deep threat. He can run that 9 routes. Bolden runs more crisp routes and catches the ball. Great pick.
And, he's not polished. He's going to require a little development, but he's going to work at it, and he wants to be the best.
Yeah.
He wants to be the best he can be.
And they can utilize him. I mean, they can still utilize his talents for what he is right now because they have a guy like Bolden and a guy like Mason to do everything else. You send him up the field right now and go, and then, like the Steelers did with Mike Wallace, develop his talents as you move along.
I'm a little surprised Randall Cobb is still around.
I
don't think he'll go to Cleveland here.
Still around.
I don't think Cobb's an option for Cleveland here. I mean,
No.
he's a little too Josh Cribbish, probably.
But I like this in the West Coast offense at least.
Yeah, I'm trying to think where else. I mean, San Diego, I think he'd be a really good fit there.
They
Although I've heard
like those
Jernigan
big guys too. They like those big guys too, though.
Yeah, but I mean, they used a first-round pick on Buster Davis at one point. Maybe they want at least one guy to kind of complement
that.
the big, tall ones.
Malcolm Floyd.
And then also,
BJ.
remember, too, Darren Sproles is probably going to be leaving.
Right.
So they need to replace him on the return teams. And either Randall Cobb or Darrell Jernigan can do that.
Who is winning the draft? That's a good question.
I'm just looking through the order here to see who stands out to me with the second round. I tell you what, I like the Chicago Bears have done.
Yeah?
and Pot, not necessarily the flashiest guys, but they address their two needs, got a good value, good football players.
And this is a playoff team. This was a very good team last year, so you're adding to the trenches, and you're getting 2 players that are going to start immediately for you. I think it's worth it. I only give up a 4th-round pick to get Paya, which I think is very solid.
I mean, talent-wise, the New York Giants getting Austin and Amukamara, both talented kids at value spots.
Yeah.
The Lions.
Michaela Short, Titus Young. So not too bad. Let's see if there are any questions from the chat room here.
I'll tell you what, I like the St. Louis Rams, too. I love the Robert Quinn pick. I like the Lance Kendricks pick a lot, too.
Yeah. Lance Kendricks, definitely interesting. If Day has a serious question he wants to toss out, I'm sure it's going to be super serious. If Rodney Hudson was a muffin, what type of muffin would he be? Probably a stud muffin.
Is that his answer or yours?
That's mine.
Oh.
Oh, my.
I think the Ravens are winning the draft. Jimmy Smith and Torrey Smith?
They got both Smiths, yeah. They're getting best players available. Jack, do you two ever disagree? Mike Pouncey. Yeah, that nice little argument. We just don't get heated. That's fine.
Yeah.
WMD, can we get a Christmas analogy for Lions draft? WMD was in love with the one Christmas analogy I made on one of our podcasts, and likes to throw that one back at me. Maybe Cleveland takes Kenrick Ellis, just keeps going with the giant bodies.
Well, I mean, Cleveland. I think Cleveland's losing the draft.
You're really bashing Cleveland. I don't think it's quite that bad.
I mean, Sheard is a solid pick, but
I like the Sheard pick. I think Taylor's going to do better than you think. I think him and Ruben are fine together, but they address their 2 biggest needs. He tackled in the end.
I tell you what, if they get Greg Little here, my opinion of their draft is going to go up 2 notches.
Yeah. Any wide receiver here, or just Greg Little?
Well, especially Greg Little. I think Greg Little's the type of guy they need. I think that's a high upside guy who's a great fit for their offense.
There you go.
Yeah.
Greg Little.
Just had to stick with it. Stick to it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, good call on that one, Scott. You've been calling that since earlier today. Greg Little of the Browns. It is, man, the AFC North Steelers better get that cornerback, I'll tell you that. A.J. Green, Greg Little, Torrey Smith.
Yeah.
Ugh. But yeah, Greg Little's raw. He's a raw player, not a lot of football experience.